Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Now, today we'll be starting the most important topic of special pathology, that is GIT pathology. We will divide this topic area wise, like initially we'll study the pathology of esophagus, then stomach, large intestine, small intestine, and few other disorders. And the congenital abnormalities which may be seen in GIT, they will be studied in the very first lecture, which will include all the congenital anomalies starting from the esophagus to the large intestine. Now, these are the various congenital anomalies which can be seen. Initially, if we talk about the esophagus, there may be atresia, fistula, or duplication of the esophagus. Atresia, fistula, and duplication may occur in any part of the GIT. It may include esophagus, it may include the stomach. It is discovered shortly after birth. Atresia is more common as compared to the agenesis. Agenesis means complete absence of the development of that particular organ. Fistula can also occur, especially if we talk about the fistula that may develop in the esophagus, that is the congenital fistula. Then we'll have a brief look on the various other disorders like intestinal atresia, imperforate anus, and stenosis. So talking about the atresia and the fistula. Atresia, as I already briefed you people, that this is the incomplete development of some portion of the GIT. While agenesis, it means that the complete absence of the development in the specific portion of GIT. Agenesis is a rare, especially the agenesis of esophagus, that is rare. But atresia, it can be seen, and it is more common as compared to agenesis. In esophageal atresia, thin non-canalized cord may be seen, and that replaces a segment of the esophagus. And when that non-canalized segment of the esophagus is present, it may cause the mechanical obstruction. Atresia, it usually occur near the tracheal bifurcation and is associated with the fistula. Fistula may connect proximal portion of the esophagus to trachea, it may connect the distal portion of the esophagus to trachea, or it may connect both the proximal or distal portions with each other. With the trachea. If you see the first picture in which there is atresia with the distal fistula, this is the more common variety, or the more common type of this congenital abnormality. In the second picture, you can see that there is isolated esophageal atresia in which a central portion of the esophagus that fails to canalize. In next picture, you can see that both the proximal and the distal esophageal segment, they make abnormal connection or fistula with the trachea. In third portion, there is an H type of tracheoesophageal fistula in which esophagus that is present, but there is an abnormal connection between the esophagus and the trachea through a fistula. In last picture, you can see that there is atresia with proximal fistula. The proximal part of the esophagus that is making an abnormal communication with the trachea, while distal part of the esophagus that is blind and it is not making any kind of communication with the esophagus. In the next picture, you can see the duodenal atresia, the duodenum that is thinned out, that is stenosed. Especially in this picture, it is seen in the first part of the duodenum. As a result of this duodenal atresia or stenosis of the duodenum, you can see the dilation which are present in the stomach. There are two dilations which are present in the stomach, and when X-ray is done, it will give a classical double bubble sign that is diagnostic of this duodenal atresia. So the X-ray picture, that is A, it denotes the classical sign, the classical double bubble appearance of duodenal atresia. B, maybe you can see the classical double bubble appearance of the duodenal atresia. इसके अलावा कुछ और एबनॉर्मलिटीज़ भी हैं विच शुड बी नोटेड, स्पेशली द डायफ्रैग्मेटिक हर्निया, ओम्फेलोसील, गैस्ट्रोसाइसिस एंड एक्टोपिया. Diaphragmatic hernia, it occurs when there is incomplete formation of the diaphragm, and due to this incomplete formation of the diaphragm, the abdominal viscera, they herniate in the thoracic cavity, and when they herniate in the thoracic cavity, they can compromise the breathing ability or the breathing capacity of the person. The second important thing is omphalocele, which occurs when the closure of the abdominal musculature that is incomplete, and as a result the abdominal viscera, they herniate on the anterior abdominal surface. They can be repaired surgically. uh, Gastroschisis, that is similar to omphalocele, but there is one difference, that all the that it involves all the layers of the abdominal wall. All the abdominal layers, they are absent, while in omphalocele, the abdominal layers are present, only the organs are present outside those abdominal layers, while in gastroschisis the anterior abdominal layers, they are absent. नेक्स्ट इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग दैट इज रिटन इज एक्टोपिया. ये सारी चीज़ें जितनी भी आ रही हैं, ट्रेजिया, फिस्टुला, डायफ्रैग्मेटिक हर्निया, ओम्फेलोसील, गैस्ट्रोसाइसिस, एक्टोपिया, ऑल दीज आर इंपॉर्टेंट पर्टिकुलरली फ्रॉम द एमसीक्यू पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू. ऑस्पी में भी, इनमें स्पेशली ये ट्रेजिया, फिस्टुला, डुप्लीकेशन वगैरह, दे कैन बी आस्क्ड. एक्टोपिक टिश्यूज, एक्टोपिक रेस्ट और डेवलपमेंटल रेस्ट, दे आर कॉमन इन जीआईटी. किसी भी जगह बन सकते हैं, स्पेशली द एक्टोपिक गैस्ट्रिक म्यूकोजा दैट कैन बी सीन इन द इसोफेगस. When ectopic gastric mucosa that is seen in the esophagus, that is called inlet patch. Similarly, ectopic pancreatic tissue can be seen in the esophagus or in the stomach. When ectopic gastric tissue is present in the esophagus, that gastric tissue, that ectopic gastric tissue, it can secrete the acid and may result in the esophagitis. फिर मैंने बात की ectopic pancreatic tissue की, that can also be seen and it is less common as compared to this ectopic gastric mucosa. Then comes the gastric heterotopia, in which the small patches of the ectopic gastric tissue, they can be seen in the small bowel or the colon. So ectopic gastric tissue, that is more common as compared to the ectopic pancreatic tissue. Now just look at the right picture, which shows the endoscopic view, and compare the reddish colored mucosa from the pink colored mucosa. The pink colored mucosa, that is the normal esophageal mucosa, while the reddish mucosa, that is the gastric mucosa. So this is the inlet patch or the ectopic gastric tissue in the esophagus. ये वही पिक्चर्स आ गई ओम्फेलोसील और गैस्ट्रोसाइसिस की. ओम्फेलोसील में एंटीरियर एब्डोमिनल वाल उसको कवर कर रही होती है, वाइल गैस्ट्रोसाइसिस में देयर इज नो एंटीरियर एब्डोमिनल वाल कवरिंग द intestinal viscera. Meckel's diverticulum, very important, can be asked as a short essay question of 5 marks. Before discussing Meckel's diverticulum, what is diverticulum? Diverticulum is a blind outpouching of the GIT that communicates with the lumen and includes all the 3 walls of the colon or all the 3 bowel walls. The most common diverticulum or the most common true diverticulum, that is the Meckel's diverticulum. एक है false diverticulum or pseudo diverticulum, in which all the 3 layers of GIT, they are not present. इसी चीज़ पे हम इनको डिफ्रेंशिएट करते हैं, ट्रू और false diverticulum को. True diverticulum, it communicates with the lumen and includes all the 3 layers of the bowel wall, while the false diverticulum, it does not contain 3 layers, it may contain 1 or 2 layers of the bowel wall. There is a very classical rule of 2 that is used to describe this Meckel's diverticulum. It occurs in approximately 2% of the population. Its length is 2 inches. It is generally present within 2 feet of the ileocecal junction, and it is twice as common as in males, and it can be symptomatic by the age of 2 years. So this is the rule of 2. 5 चीज़ें आ जाती हैं इसमें. It occurs in 2% population. Its length is 2 inches. It is twice as common in males. It is present within 2 feet of the ileocecal junction or ileocecal valve, and it can become asymptomatic by the age of 2 years. अब ये होता क्यों है? Meckel's diverticulum Why this Meckel diverticulum occur? Meckel diverticulum, it occur because there is failed involution of the vitelline duct. Vitelline duct अगर आप embryology पढ़ें, नेक्स्ट पिक्चर में मैं दिखाता हूँ कि व्हाट इज द पैथोजेनेसिस ऑफ दिस Meckel diverticulum. So if you look at this picture, ileal diverticulum or Meckel diverticulum is seen, and there is failed involution of this vitelline duct. When the vitelline duct it fails to involute, then there occurs an abnormal connection of the diverticulum with the umbilicus. So the main pathogenetic mechanism is the failed involution of the vitelline duct, which connects the lumen of the developing duct to the yolk sac. Pyloric stenosis. Pyloric stenosis, it has a very high incidence and its inheritance is multifactorial. One very important thing is that underlies the pathology of this pyloric stenosis, the maternal exposure to various drugs during the pregnancy. Its incidence is about 300 to 900 live births, and it is more common in case of males. अगर हम इसमें ट्विंस की बात करें तो मोनोजाइगोटिक ट्विंस में there is a high rate with 200 times increased risk if one twin is affected. Similarly, if we talk about the dizygotic twins, the risk is increased by 20 times. So there are various factors, there are multiple factors, that's why its inheritance is multifactorial inheritance. How the child presents with the signs and symptoms of this pyloric stenosis, यूजली इनिशियली फर्स्ट मंथ में ही बच्चे को साइन सिम्टम्स डेवलप हो जाते हैं, यूजली 3-4 वीक्स पे, in which there is presence of non-bilous projectile vomiting, especially after feeding. और फीडिंग के बाद जब बच्चा फ़ौरन वॉमिटिंग कर देगा तो पेट तो उसका खाली हो जाएगा, फिर उसको दोबारा फिर भूख लगेगी, वो दोबारा फिर फीड की डिमांड करेगा, अगेन वॉमिटिंग साइकिल कंटिन्यू करता है इसका. सो फेलियर टू थ्राइव होगा बच्चों में. द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट साइन दैट कैन बी इलिसिटेड इन द केस ऑफ पाइलोरिक स्टेनोसिस, दैट यू कैन सी अ स्मॉल एब्डोमिनल मैस, 2 सेंटीमीटर का एब्डोमिनल मैस होगा, ओवल शेप्ड और राउंडेड शेप्ड एब्डोमिनल मैस, और उसमें पेरिस्टाल्सिस भी देखी जा सकती है, स्पेशली जब बच्चे को उस वक्त रीगर्जिटेशन हो रही हो या वॉमिटिंग हो रही हो. यू कैन सी द एबनॉर्मल लेफ्ट टू राइट उसमें पेरिस्टाल्सिस दैट इज especially evident during feeding and immediately during the late stages of the vomiting or after the vomiting. Surgical splitting of the musculature of the pyloric musculature, that is the treatment of the choice, और इसको peds में they perform a surgery that is called as Ramstead operation. So this is the picture showing normal anatomy of the stomach and the stomach having pyloric stenosis, और दूसरी साइड पे इसका अल्ट्रासाउंड है, yellow arrow is pointing out the thickened musculature of the pyloric canal. Hirschsprung disease, another important topic, especially from the OSPE point of view and from the SCQ point of view. OSPE में तो Hirschsprung disease लाजमी पूछा जाता है. Hirschsprung disease it occurs in approximately 1 out of 5000 live births. अगर इसकी हम पैथोजेनेसिस की बात करें तो there are enteric neurons or enteric nervous system that develops from the neural crest cells and migrate to the colonic mucosa or colonic wall during the embryogenesis. However, in case of Hirschsprung disease, that is also called as congenital aganglionic megacolon, these enteric nervous system or the neuronal plexuses, which are called as Meissner's and Auerbach's or Myenteric plexuses, they fail to develop. When they fail to develop when they fail to develop, then there remains a segment of the intestine that become aganglionic, जिस सेगमेंट में वो गैंग्लियंस नहीं होंगे, जिस सेगमेंट में वो गैंग्लियन मूव नहीं करेंगे ड्यूरिंग एम्ब्रियोजेनेसिस. सो दैट सेगमेंट ऑफ द इंटेस्टिनल वॉल in which the Meissner's and this Myenteric or Auerbach's plexus, they fail to develop and fail to migrate during embryogenesis, that become massively dilated and that become aganglionic, and this is called as Hirschsprung disease or congenital aganglionic megacolon. That is the second name of this condition. It has very strong association with the Down syndrome. As much as 10% of the cases of the Down syndrome they are associated with Hirschsprung disease. इसमें म्यूटेशंस भी आ जाती हैं. वन वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट म्यूटेशन इज द रिसेप्टर टायरोसिन काइनेज जीन दैट इज कॉल्ड एज RET that is responsible for majority of the familial cases of this Hirschsprung disease. अब नेक्स्ट है इसकी मॉर्फोलॉजी और क्लिनिकल फीचर्स. The left-sided picture, it is showing the pathogenesis, how the Hirschsprung disease, इसका mechanism क्या है और वो कैसे migrate करके आए हैं और how it fails to develop and how the megacolon it developed. Just see on entire colon you can see these nerve plexuses, these yellow colored nerve plexuses, while on the terminal end there are no nerves. The rectum is collapsed, the proximal portion does not contain any type of nerve, और उससे immediately अगर ऊपर देखें हम तो there are nerves. So the aganglionic segment, the immediate proximal portion to that aganglionic segment, it becomes massively enlarged. It becomes so much dilated that it thins out and can rupture easily. So that's the reason it is called as megacolon. अब इसकी morphology diagnosis is that diagnosis, it depends on the single important feature, and that is the absence of these ganglionic cells. Usually the ganglionic cells, they can be seen on this hematoxylin and eosin staining. If you look at the picture A, the arrowheads, they denote the presence of these ganglionic cells in the bowel wall, while in the lower picture no ganglions or these neuronal cells they are seen. So single important feature on histopathology or microscopy is the absence of these ganglionic cells. अब इनको इनमें पार्ट कौन कौन से इन्वॉल्व हो जाते हैं. रेक्टम इज़ ऑलमोस्ट ऑलवेज अफेक्टेड, बट कितना इन्वॉल्वमेंट होगी, कितनी लेंथ इन्वॉल्वमेंट होगी वो वेरी करती है. समटाइम्स रेक्टम और सिग्मोइड कोलन इज़ इन्वॉल्व, समटाइम्स उससे ऊपर भी जा सकता है, असेंडिंग कोलन तक भी जा सकता है. और जैसे पहले मैंने बात कही है कि द इमीडिएट प्रॉक्सिमल पोर्शन टू aganglionic segment that become enlarged and that become massively dilated, that is called as megacolon. Or sometimes that is enlarged so much that its diameter it reaches up to 20 centimeter. In that case the walls thin out and there are high chances of the rupture. अब इसके क्लिनिकल फीचर्स क्या है कि जैसे aganglionic segment है, बर्थ के बाद द चाइल्ड यूजुअली passes meconium. So when there is aganglionic segment, the child, he or she fails to pass the meconium immediately in the postnatal period. Similarly obstruction के sign symptoms आ सकते हैं, constipation भी हो सकती है, there may be presence of the vomiting, and then apart from vomiting, failure to thrive and electrolyte imbalance can also occur as a result of repeated episodes of vomiting. There is a very strong association of this congenital megacolon of Hirschsprung disease, and that strong association is with Chagas disease that is the sleeping sickness. और इसको मेरे ख्याल आप लोग थर्ड ईयर में पढ़ चुके हो.